Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 2nd regular City Council meeting, 2018. Would you call the roll?
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilmember Hamrick.
Here.
Councilmember Arquez. Councilmember Meisner.
Here.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Mayor Troutman.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. It's coming. So, and also, before we start officially, well, we are officially started, we have 15 minutes that if you'd like to speak to council, just come on up and get to the podium, and we'd like to have your name. If you don't have one, we'll assign you one. So, and if no one appears, then we'll get right into the meeting. So if you'd like to come and talk to council, please feel free to step up to the podium and address us about any issue or anything you'd like to talk about. And if you do, you got 3 minutes. Well, that was awful quiet. Okay, let's just move right on then. This evening, first before we go, I'd like to everybody keep their prayers and thoughts, all the people that are suffering from these wildfires. I understand there's one creeping toward Wetmore, and that's where we have the smoke, and please, if you can, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. It's a tough time. I've had a friend who did lose their home a few years ago in a fire, and it was devastating to this day. So hopefully that'll all be resolved shortly. We'll get lots and lots of rain, so pray for rain too. So, okay, thank you. It is my pleasure to ask Amanda Cochran to approach the podium, and we'll have the city clerk swear you in as at-large, as our newest at-large council member.
Okay.
I, in your name,
I, Amanda
last name,
Cochran,
residing at
residing at
547 Diamond
547
Avenue,
Diamond Avenue,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will honor
that I will honor
and uphold
and uphold
the constitutions,
the constitutions,
laws,
laws,
and regulations
and regulations
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Colorado,
and the state of Colorado,
and the charter,
ordinances,
laws, and
laws and regulations
of the city of Canyon City,
of the city of Canyon City,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of city council
of city council
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Carrie, we're going to do a picture up here behind the podium at the seal with.
We'll bring you up, we're going to
Okay.
take a picture and
Okay.
let you be seated.
Okay.
Okay, let's stand here. Let's welcome Amanda and take a picture, and then we'll fingerprint her. No.
I thought she meant to clear up his foot.
Okay, your book has the agenda in it there, Amanda, and you have a very well-seasoned, well-trained council person next to you. She will. She tries to keep us, right? So, again, welcome. feel comfortable. We don't have any citizens' written requests. We have one, but we're going to ask them to talk when we get to that subject on the agenda, which would be item number 12. Do we have any others? Okay. Okay, we don't have any, all right. Does any of the council members have any announcements at this time? Kristen?
Caitlin.
Caitlin, I am so sorry. Ms.
That's okay.
Turner, Ms. Turner.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind everyone that this Saturday, the Royal Gorge Regional Museum and History Center will be hosting another bike tour. So the folks will be meeting Saturday the 7th at 6 p.m. at Centennial Park by the tennis courts. And they'll be doing a tour of South Canyon. So I attended the last bike tour. It was a great time. I encourage everyone to show up, and I'd be happy to see everyone there.
Anyone else? Mr. Meisner?
2 issues. We have some kind of meeting on Wednesday, and it's not going to happen, just information. What was it, government?
It was general government meeting.
Government meeting won't happen this Wednesday because of the Independence Day holiday. And then 2, there was an article in the Sunday, July 1st edition of the Pueblo Chieftain with regards to Black Hills Energy. There's a quote in there from Susan Perkins, the utility lawyer for the group, which is Pueblo Clean Energy or something like that. But the quote is, quote, "There are so many ramifications to be considered. We know Canyon City would like to take part in any publicly owned utility," end quote. I would just like to publicly make reference to the fact that that information is not correct.
Anyone else? Mr. Hammer, go ahead.
Give a brief update on,
Into your mic.
thank you. I just wanted to state that Caitlin Turner and I did meet with Black Hills last week, Friday from noon to 4:30 in a negotiation session. They were cordial and professional, and I feel a lot of progress was made. We will be, as a council, discussing that in executive session because there are negotiation details that we cannot share at this time. But after the meeting, I felt pretty positive about where we are in terms of our franchise agreement.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I believe there is a celebration. We won't have fireworks this year. And I think it's a good call. I believe I know there is a party, a celebration at Marguerite Park, which is up off of North 5th Street. It's a cute little park. It starts at 5. I think we have watermelon and refreshments. If you'd like to come out and meet the rest of the community, please do so. I believe it's 5 to 8, because I know 8 o'clock's close to my bedtime. So, and most of you in the audience know what I'm talking about, right? So, okay. Anything else? All right. Let's move on to recognition and proclamations. We would like to recognize 2 council members that were longtime council members and contributed quite a bit to our community and the progress that we've shown in our community. We'd like to thank them and congratulate them at this time. So could we have Mr. Dennis Weed and Mr. Scott Ekstrom come forward? We'd like to take a picture and present you with a plaque or a trophy or something like that, huh? So why don't you come down here and we'll have the council come down there. So. Let's go down here.
How about I come over here and hand them?
So why don't you hand it now, so
All right.
picture day.
They are loose. Jerry, stay there. Nice to meet you. Be very careful with that. It's loose.
That's it's a nice night. Everybody got a key fob. I lost control, right? And then they just gave me a code and said, hey, it's good now.
Some of you that Dennis and Scott were here for A long, long time. How many years did you serve?
10.
10 years, and Scott, 8. Four so far. Okay.
Felt like a,
So, thank you so
Took
much
8 years
for
off the
your effort and for your time on council and all the great and positive things, and I really mean it, that you did for our town.
We wouldn't be where we're at today, seriously.
I miss looking over and seeing you two, a lot of the things, and I was like this. So, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, no, we get the-
well,
Okay.
but after this, I have a couple comments.
oh yeah, it's gonna take advantage of this.
Yeah, I will need 3. They really, Jackie, pleasure.
Okay, Mr. Weed, do we have to put you on the clock, or is it actually less than 3 minutes?
You don't have to put me on
Okay, I
the
just
clock,
wondered.
and I'm not going to say
I
anything
would-
controversial either.
Well, that's something new, huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's so I was on city council for 10 years, and I had a good time. You know, there's it's not all good times. There's some times when this room and the next one is packed full of people who don't like us or don't like you guys, but. Yeah, I was thinking that, looking back on those 10 years, and, you know, I think what probably is going to be the most satisfying part about it is that, you know, probably after I'm gone, my kids are still going to be able to say that, hey, my dad had something to do with that, like rebuilding the Royal Gorge Park, or the new stuff going on at Centennial Park and the Whitewater Park. Just, you know, it's fun to look, and that's probably the biggest reward for being on city council, other than the great pay, is just knowing that I had my hand in some of these things that'll be around here for a very long time. So I feel grateful that I was able to do that, and thanks to everybody who elected me or whatever. And anyhow, thanks.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dennis.
this.
And
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
And Scott, thank you so much.
Thanks, Scott.
And I was corrected, the party on Wednesday will be at Veterans Park, not Marguerite Park. Correct, so, and it's from 5 to 8. And come on out, so easy to get there, easy to park. And it's at Veterans Park, which is right down across from our building here. I don't see Chief Harvey. Is he here?
They're all wrapped up in that Wetmore incident, so
Okay,
we're
should we-
pushing that to July the 16th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then, we have, we'll go for the adoption of the agenda and the consent agenda. Could you review the consent agenda, Tony?
Sure, Mayor and Council, 9A would approve the minutes of June 4th, both the special meeting and the regular meeting, and also the minutes of June the 6th, general government meeting. 9B would authorize the Parks Department to donate a 1977 Ford water truck that we intend to donate to the Canyon City Parks and Recreation District. Be well utilized. 9C would award a professional service agreement to DRC, which is an architectural firm, to do renderings and renovate the new Greenlee Bruffy Police Annex on Ohio Street in the amount not to exceed $12,055. And then 9D is simply to receive and file the list of our monthly bills.
Okay. Any questions on that of the administrator? Then I would ask for a motion and a second. Mr. Meisner?
I'm looking at an old agenda, but Mayor and Council, I move that we approve the minutes from the June 4th special meeting, the June 4th special meeting and regular meeting, the June 6th government committee meeting, and the June 18th council meeting.
Hearing none, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Cochran,
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Hamrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Meisner,
Aye.
Councilmember Turner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, I will be on a slight short vacation on the 16th of July, which is the second meeting of this month. And Ashley is on a short vacation as well, at Ms. Smith, and she is the mayor pro tem. So I would seek to have, I would ask that you designate or make a motion to designate Mr. Meisner, mayor pro tem, in both of our absences at that time. Any questions on that? If not, I'd like a motion in a second. And that is to appoint Mr. Meisner to be mayor pro tem in our absence.
Make a motion.
Ms. Gonzalez, are you making that motion? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to make the motion.
Would
I
you go?
didn't have a question.
Okay, make the motion then.
Okay. I make a motion that we appoint Councilmember Meisner as the mayor pro tem for the July 16th meeting.
Seconded?
Second, Ms. Turner, thank you. Any discussion on that motion? Would you call a roll, please?
Councilmember Cochran,
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Hamrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Meisner,
Aye.
Councilmember Turner.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Number 11 is consideration of the reappointment of planning commissioners Rich Harriman and Mike Sherrod to 3-year terms expiring July the 1st, 2021. Would I have any discussion on that? Hearing none, could I have a motion and a second? Mr. Hamrick?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I move that we reappoint planning commissioners Rich Harmon and Mike Sherrod to 3-year terms expiring on July 1st, 2021.
Okay,
Second?
second. Ms. Gonzalez, thank you. Any discussion on that motion? Mr. Meisner?
It's a minor issue, but in, I think, Mr. Sherrado's letter, he mentions that his term expires on July 1st.
It did say.
Let's say July 1st.
When did it expire?
June 30th, doesn't it?
Oh, it did say July 1st.
It's minor.
So for approximately 24 hours, he was out of term.
I don't know, it's technicality.
Okay. Any other questions on the motion? Okay. Would you call a roll, please?
Councilmember Cochran,
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Hamrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Meisner,
Aye.
Councilmember Turner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, item number 12 is consideration of a 20-year agreement with Clean Energy Collectives for the Solar Garden Project. And we have one written request to address the council, and that is from Mark James. And Mark, there you are. And we will start the clock. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, it's a pleasure to be before you today. I work for Black Hills Energy in Pueblo, Colorado, and I'm the Renewable Energy Program Manager. I run all the renewable programs for the state of Colorado. Today I'm here in support of the Community Solar Garden. The Clean Energy Collective is the winning bidder for that and is proposed to be built in Fremont County. So what I'm here to do today is encourage support of that, and if you guys have any questions from the utility, I'm available to answer any of your questions.
Okay. Could we have a staff report from, thank you, Mark. If we have questions, we can ask you. Mr. Stevens, would you have a staff report, please?
Yeah, just a short report. We've been approached by the Clean, pardon me. We've been approached by the Clean Energy Collective for the Solar Garden Project. It's a 20-year agreement, and we have Mike Malone here from the Clean Energy Collective to discuss the program and answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions, council? Ms. Gonzalez?
I have a question. Mike, right?
Yes.
Okay, hi, Mike. My only concern is, from what I understand, there's only about 480 homes that this would provide energy to. And it's open to our community as well as adjacent communities or counties.
Yeah, anybody that's a resident or a business or.
Mike, excuse me, would you just pull that mic over, make sure, there you go. The green light.
Okay.
Okay.
It's customers of Black Hills Energy that are residents of Fremont County can participate in any other county that touches Fremont County.
Okay, do they have to be Black Hills Energy customers?
Have to be.
As well?
Black Hills Energy electric customers.
Electric customers, okay. Is there a way, and I don't know how council feels about this, but is there a way that we can request that Fremont County residents get first priority?
So I'm happy to, like, if you can, I'm happy to do whatever you guys want, because you're also the host location for this project. And to support that, I just would need, we would set aside for, say, 30 days or 45 days or something, we would market to Fremont County residents.
Okay,
And a point person at the city to help me organize that.
okay. And then also, how are residents chosen? Residents or commercial businesses, how are they chosen?
So it's a first come, first served,
First,
yeah,
okay.
first to contract. The project is currently contracted at 45%. The Pueblo Community College Fremont campus took 40% of the project. They were already this is our 5th project with Black Hills. So they were a participant in the second and third projects with their Pueblo campus. So this is the first time that this campus could participate, and they've signed up for 40% of the project.
Okay, great.
And
Thank you.
5% has been contracted to Posada as for low-income housing, because 10% of all of our projects needs to go to low-income housing.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Meisner?
Thanks, Mike. I thought I read in here that it made reference that customers were commercial, nonprofit, or governmental.
Yeah, it probably said that, because that's what I focus on is governmental and commercial customers, but this project is available for residential customers too.
So shouldn't that be reflected in the agreement?
So the agreement that we put in front of you is between us and the city. So there would be a separate residential contract that would be entered into with any homeowner or apartment owner, or apartment dweller, whatever.
But is this not the binding agreement between us?
Do you have the? Yes, that'd be the contract between us and the city to be an anchor tenant in this project. Individual homeowners would separately contract with us for a 20-year term to receive these credits.
So this agreement is for the city to purchase and use the solar garden
Okay.
and receive those benefits of renewable energy.
So I have a question if you.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Cochran?
So it says in here that you guys provide the upfront costs for setting everything up and maintenance. Would that same apply to residents, or would they have to?
So maybe can I take just a minute and describe how this works?
Yeah.
Sure.
If that would help. So we build what's called a community solar garden. We'll go secure a 20-year lease on a piece of land, and we'll build the solar array on that piece of land. So, and then cities or community members subscribe to participate. So just to be clear, it's never on your building or property. It's on land that we've secured. We own the project for the lifetime of the project, and then Black Hills purchases all the power that we produce from that project. And the way that they buy it is they put credits on your individual utility bills, and then you pay us back about 90% of that, saving 10%.
And
Mr. Mike?
Oh, sorry.
Ms. Cochran, go ahead, Ms.
Is there a
Cochran.
cap on the amount of residents that can participate in the program?
Yeah, the size of the project caps that. It's a 2-megawatt project, and each year Black Hills awards a 2-megawatt project and a 500-kilowatt project. We bid for those each year, and that's what determines the size. Now, there's other financial requirements from our people that lend us money that want to have a certain percentage be cities and municipalities of high credit value. So they take the first anchor pieces, and that leaves the rest for residential customers.
Ms. Turner?
What happens if Black Hills doesn't have the service area for the full 20 years?
Yeah, so the community solar programs were mandated by the state legislature. So let's say, and we've gone through this recently, I haven't, not with Black Hills, but with Excel and the city of Boulder. So if Boulder became a municipal utility or someone else took over their franchise in Boulder, our arrays that are located in Boulder would then feed into that utility, and then those credits would flow into that utility's bill. So it's kind of uninterrupted depending upon the utility.
Okay.
Mr. Meisner?
Is the agreement in our packet, the actual agreement?
Yes. It is.
Appendage A makes reference to the buyer name of the city of Florence. I think that's probably not
I
correct.
apologize, that's a relic, but we'll clean that up. This agreement was set to, for legal review, and we still have to, make sure we complete all that process.
Ms. Gonzalez?
I have a question for Mark. out there. Hi, Mark. Have you worked with a solar garden within your community or where you're working? You work in Pueblo right now. There is no solar garden in Pueblo, correct?
Well, not right now. We have a 120 kilowatt community solar garden right now. We have 2 additional solar gardens. It's going to be up and producing power probably in about July, August timeframe. Those are from 2016. The ones that we're talking about today, there's 2 projects for 2017. One's in Pueblo County, one's in Fremont County. And then there's a request for a proposal that just went out today for another 2 community solar gardens. And in addition, our Renewable Energy Standard Compliance Plan that we have right now that was approved by the Public Utilities Commission calls for another 10 megawatts of community solar through 2021. Me personally, I worked for Colorado Springs Utilities for 20 years and managed all the energy efficiency and renewable energy programs. So we did multiple solar gardens at that utility. We also work with Clean Energy Collective on that project. So they are a reputable company for building, owning, and operating community solar gardens.
My question was, if you had worked with some of these other entities, how would you compare reliability, just overall?
Well, the community solar gardens are much more reliable than like an on-site solar that you'd put on your home. The project they're proposing is a single-axis tracking project that produces much more energy than what you'd see in a typical household. And we have a 20-year contract with the developer where they have to build, own, operate, and maintain that community solar garden for a period of 20 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Meisner?
So the tag on her question, what happens that there's an issue where your overall output goes down, which means our output, metered output goes down, which means the credit to Black Hills goes down. Does our payment to you then reduce?
Yeah, you only pay for the energy that's produced.
Mr. Meisner?
On 7.2, where they talk about a decrease in capacity, which I assume is to keep you below the 120%,
Yes.
I'm confused as to why, because it's a mandatory to keep below the 120%, why would there be a penalty if you had to adjust our capacity downward?
If you oversubscribed and we had to adjust downward and then go find another subscriber, that's why there's a penalty.
It doesn't
be-
mention oversubscribing, though.
You have to be-
7.2.
If you have to be adjusted down,
So at any time during the term, the company may decrease the customer's capacity to keep the customer in compliance. And then we're going to be charged $50 per kW.
right. That's basically if we had to remarket it. This is, this 400 kW is about a fourth of what you could ever use. So generally what happens is, for a smaller, the contract's used for a lot of different customers. So it's not specific to your instance. Customers can subscribe to something and their usage drop, and they become ineligible to participate in the program if they have 1 meter. You have more than 1 meter. With municipalities, we typically sit down on a yearly or bi-yearly basis and rebalance your usage and spread it amongst your meters.
And in that recalibration, redistribution, if ours is decreased, are we going to see a penalty?
No, you wouldn't see any penalty at all. It's moving it from the meter for this building to the police department building. It's just a way for us to make sure you stay in compliance with it. If you decrease below the 800 kW that we're talking about assigning to you, then there would be a penalty, but you have so much capacity, it should never come into play.
Is that downsize fee a one-time charge?
Yeah.
Or is it until that
No, it's just a
wattage
one-time
is sold?
charge. It's a one-time charge because we go and remarket to somebody else.
And if you remarket it, you're not going to give me credit?
You haven't paid anything. I mean, you've received
Well, I mean,
credit.
if we get a decrease and we get a decreased charge, and then you sell that again, are you going to give us back that decreased charge? Because you've recovered that revenue.
Well, we would recover the ongoing revenue, but we wouldn't have recovered the cost of remarketing it and reselling it. I'm happy to have a discussion with your, if this is a problem for you, we're happy to discuss alternative ways of handling it. I think it's one of those issues that shouldn't come into play with this contract, but if it's a concern for you, we're happy to entertain alternate wording.
And I'd just like to mention one thing about that the 120% rule, that's through the Colorado legislature, so that's statutory. No electric customer can have more than 120% of their annual energy use, and that's also written in the Colorado PUC rules. So that's something I check when it comes in to my office. And most of the subscriptions you see, some of them may or may not get close to that 120% number, but it's just something that we have to maintain compliance with because it's a state statute and we're subject to PUC jurisdiction, so we have to comply with that rule also.
I guess that whole thing would make sense if you made reference to the 120%, but you don't because it starts out, the paragraph, at any time during the term, company may decrease. What does may mean?
If Councilmember Meisner, it does reference the 120%, because if you keep reading to the end of that sentence where it says, to keep the customer in compliance with the program limitation, and that's defined earlier in the agreement as being that 120% and being located in the county where the facility is located, I believe is what it says. That's in 4.1.
Okay.
It's titled program limitation. So to keep you in compliance with those two sub-paragraphs, they may decrease during the term of the agreement. I don't know if that helps.
Okay, I just don't like the wording. I mean, if that's the case, then why use may? It should be shall. If we have to comply with statutory requirement, there's no may about it. Would seem that verbiage could be less vague.
We're happy to substitute shall for may.
That's an attorney issue, I guess.
No, I think you want may in there, not shall.
Yeah, but it shall happen, right?
May we move on?
We shall.
Shall we move on?
I do
Mr.
I do have one
Hammer,
question.
go ahead.
The, and my question's for you, the Clean Energy Collective, are there other companies out there that are building and marketing solar gardens?
Yeah, with our last two requests for proposals, we probably got a total of about 15 responses, so it was a very competitive process.
But only 2 companies were awarded.
Yeah, 2 companies were awarded the 2 projects, a 2-megawatt project and a 500-kilowatt project.
Thank you.
And that's in the territory that is overseen by Black Hills.
Right, and what Black Hills looks at too right now, we have a community solar garden in the Pueblo area. One of the other projects going to be located in Pueblo County. So what we're trying to do is get something in Fremont County. So all of our customers can participate, because you have to be in that county or an adjoining county. So having it in Fremont County opens up that community solar garden project to a lot more of our customers.
Okay, and in Black Hills, so this is an exclusive arrangement. If someone else wanted to do on their own a solar garden of some type, they couldn't do it. Black Hills would have to consent, obviously, to buy that electricity.
Now, well, actually, Canyon City could submit their own project as long as it's at least 50 kilowatts to our RFP process if you wanted to have your own community solar garden, but you'd be on the hook for the 20-year management and administration for that project.
But if another corporation wanted to form or make a large, your word, solar garden, could they do that?
Yeah, they just have to respond to our request for a proposal.
What if you don't have a request for proposal?
Well, that's just what's in our Renewable Energy Standard Compliance Plan, so that's what we're ordered to do through the commission. Right now, Black Hills, our leaders are looking at different options that are outside of the regulatory requirements because a lot of our customers want renewables, so we're in the process of figuring out how to do that where the renewable requirements above and beyond what's in the Colorado Renewable Energy Standard.
If a company, again, I'm missing something here. If a company wanted to do a large solar array, they would have to clear it through you or through the city?
Well, they would still have to go through Black Hills Energy because,
have-
anybody who builds that is going to want Black Hills Energy to buy all the power
Correct.
and the renewable energy credits.
And you have the lines and the connections, okay.
When the community solar legislation was passed, each of the publicly traded utilities in the state of Colorado was required to have a certain percentage of their portfolio in community solar projects. And so each year, Xcel and Black Hills will release an RFP for so many megawatts of power, and then we and other companies respond to those RFPs, and they make a selection process and award that tranche of projects for that year.
Sure, I understand that. Okay. Now, go ahead, Mr. Meisner.
Just one quick clarification. As I'm understanding it, each year you're taking our output, our measured output that we're getting billed for and comparing it to the previous 12 months and seeing if there's 120% ratio there. Is it possible that we could have enough energy reduction with an LED light program that we would fall below the 120%?
It's possible, but we're constantly consuming more energy, not reducing it with our expanded facilities. We spend $747,000 a year on electrical costs. That figure continues to rise.
Thank you.
Okay. There are some questions and additions and concessions and things of that. Are you comfortable with looking at this, or do you want it to be some changes made and brought back to council, or where are you at on that? Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd just point out Tony, in some of our discussions, I did ask that you have Harry look at the commercial arrangements in this contract, and I believe that he did so and said it's may not be the best deal in the world, but it is a deal, essentially is how I would characterize it.
Well, it's free. I mean, we're just a net beneficiary, so I don't know what the downsides are.
Okay. If not, then I'll ask for a motion in a second.
Well,
Go ahead.
I mean, I think the contract needs some amending because it does reference Florence in that appendix. So I don't know if we want to wait till that's complete before. I don't think the document can be signed as is.
Okay, that's what
Orange
I,
could sign it.
Well, I think that appendix is supposed to be replaced when the agreement is agreed to with what says up at the top of that, so. But if you all would like to see that revised before you sign it, that's fine.
what's, the question is, before we go for a motion, and we can go for a motion, you can vote up or down. Do you want to have it come back with the completed amendment, addendum, or whatever, and then take a look at it? Or what do you want to do?
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
I'm fine as long as it's replaced to be accurate. I think that's
Okay.
okay. And I think Catherine's indicating we'd be okay with that.
Okay,
So
Okay.
and so this will require the mayor's signature.
So I have a question, but I know I came
Yes, ma'am.
into the game late, so I don't
Go right
know if
ahead.
this has already been discussed or not. But
ahead.
my concern is that the residents of Canyon City, residential citizens, are struggling to pay their electricity bills right now, and I think they could benefit from some help. And so what kind of, if they participate in this program, what kind of savings would they be seeing monetary? Because I don't speak kilowatts. So, I'm just curious as to how much this is really going to be helping out our residents.
Yeah, so what we would typically do is size a customer, a residential customer, for 120% of their prior year kilowatt hours. Your utility bill is a bunch of stuff.
Right.
So, and then it's a 10% discount on what we produce. So it ends up for a residential customer being about a 5 to 6% savings over the year.
Okay.
Just to clarify a little bit, the residents will be able to sign on to this agreement separately.
From- right.
From this city agreement, but the citizens will be able to, they'll have the net benefit of the savings from this agreement, which is between $17,000 and $20,000 a year.
Okay.
Okay. And all this agreement is with the city, not with any residents or any commercial, anybody. This is just the city and our $700,000 electric bill. Okay? That's all it is. So if you're comfortable, then I'll ask for a motion and a second. So would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the
Ms.
motion.
Gonzalez?
I make a motion that we approve the community solar subscription agreement.
Okay. And have a second?
Second?
Second, Ms. Turner, thank you. Any discussion on that motion and second?
I just have a question for Tony. Tony, what's the projected savings?
$20,000 a year?
20,500. Sorry, didn't read your memo
Okay.
as good as I should have.
Okay. Is there any more comments? Would you call a roll, please?
Councilmember Cochran,
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Hamrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Meisner.
Nay.
Oh, my goodness. Excuse me.
Wasn't that bad?
Councilmember Turner.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Did I see, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
hope it wasn't too painful.
It was great. I'm glad that you were the mayor today. Not next
Well, so am I. So,
Yeah, but
although-
I could still vote next week, too.
Thank you. So the whole thing wasn't very shocking. All right, anyway. Did you get it? Okay. All right.
We just
Did-
let it go.
Did I, thank you. Did I see the chief of police here, and has he gone?
he did, but I believe he left.
He left? Okay. Do you, Mr. O'Rourke, do you have any report for us?
No, for the sake of the executive session, I will pass.
Okay. At this point, then, I'd like to adjourn and move into the executive session.
What about Tim?
So, what? We've covered my schedule. I don't know what are you on?
Let me get another one, Jim.
Okay.
Never mind. I'm okay.
Let's go ahead and adjourn and move into the executive session. Thank you all for coming. Regular City Council meeting is now adjourned at 7:52.